Hi everyone. This is part 23 of what happened to me when I got government housing, and I want to get stuck into it straight away so I can start to explain to you the unravelling of my life that was happening at that time. On the 9th of the 6th, 2016, some people from the council attended my home to collect the damaged washing machine and dryer. I was glad that they offered that service because I couldn't stand to see the washing machine and dryer sitting there in the laundry, and because I couldn't take them to the tip myself. I didn't own a car and I didn't know anyone with a trailer, so there was no way that I could have removed them myself. And after the people took the washing machine and dryer away, I was left with an empty space. The respondent kept trying to keep me away from the block, and he had removed me from this part of the block by damaging my washing machine and dryer. Now that I didn't have a washing machine and dryer, I had nothing in the laundry and I couldn't use it anymore. I also didn't use my car space because I didn't own a car and because the respondent used my car space for himself. So that meant that I was paying rent for a unit with a laundry space and a car space, but I was only able to use the unit. If I got compensation, I think that I should have been reimbursed the percentage of my rent that was for the laundry space and the car space, given that I couldn't use those two areas. But as we know, I didn't get compensation for any of that. And as I'll explain in later videos, the judge who heard my case wasn't willing to listen to my arguments about what I wanted compensation for anyway. Seeing my washing machine and dryer go was another loss that I suffered, on top of losing my freedom and losing a friend. And I started to do other things inside my home because of the stress that I was under and because of how confused I was. One of the things that I did was that I dismantled my bed and I put it against the wall. I really loved this bed. It was a white bed in a French style, and it took ages for me to pay it off because I was on such a low income. And I'd bought sheets and a doona cover to match it, and it looked so beautiful. And it made me happy every time I looked at it. At the time, I thought that I dismantled my bed because I was making more room for all the papers and the evidence that I had accumulated in relation to my case against the respondent. I felt that it was easier for me to have less furniture because I needed to see all the evidence and the photos that I had for my case. Now that I look back at it, I realized that I did this after suffering a breakdown, and what I did was probably part of the consequences of what was happening to me. The fact that I had to deal with everything on my own, the way I was treated by the police, and the fact that I had suffered a breakdown. I don't remember where I was sleeping at the time, but I may have slept on a mattress on the floor. I don't own this bed anymore because I ended up selling it at a later date. And I sold it because I wanted to buy a trolley that I could put my washing in to make it easier for me to take it to the laundrette. Trolleys are very expensive in Australia, and the one that I bought cost $180, which was a huge hunk of the pension money that I got, because even now the pension in Australia is only around $300. So that would have been over half of my pension money if I hadn't have sold the bed to pay for it. That trolley was another expense that I incurred as a result of having my washing machine and dryer damaged. But I was really glad to buy it because I could fit so much into it, and it made going to the laundrette all that much easier, and I didn't have a car. So on the 15th of the 6th, 2016, I went back to the doctor and I got another medical certificate related to my breakdown. And I also thought of seeing a psychologist, but I didn't think that they would help. I wanted the respondent to leave me alone, and if he did, I felt that I would have been okay. People talk about people in government housing having psychological issues, but I don't think enough is said about what causes those issues. I suffered a breakdown because of many issues, including the way the police treated me, so it should follow that making the police accountable for their behaviour would help to alleviate the problems caused by duty failure. If my doctor had supported me and believed what I was telling her, I may have felt more confident in asking for a referral to a psychologist. If I had a lawyer, that would have alleviated a lot of the stress that I was under because I would have not been burdened with all the administrative work that I had to do because of what was involved in preparing a case against a respondent. People say that you should reach out for help when you're having issues, especially mental health issues, but it should be acknowledged that some mental health problems could be immediately alleviated by changing a person's circumstances. The respondent should have been charged back in February 2015 when he assaulted me, and the fact that he wasn't had far reaching consequences that I was forced to deal with on my own. So the situation continued to be strange, and this incident that I'm about to describe is not only strange but also creepy and something that I need to include because it was another incident that occurred, but it's also something that I can't explain. So unfortunately, I'm in a situation where I have to tell you what happened, but I can't explain it to you. So on the 16th of the 6th, 2016, someone from the Dispute Settlement Centre Victoria, which is at the Melbourne Magistrates Court, rang me to say that the matter between the respondent and I, which the only matters that that court was dealing with was an intervention order matter, had been referred to them again. So the person who rang me actually stated that the matter had been referred to him and that he was just making a courtesy call to me to let me know that it had already been assessed as not being suitable for mediation. And I found that bizarre. And once again, I was really confused. And you would think that I would have come to expect this sort of behaviour from people working in the justice system by now, but the truth is that it always shocked me what they came out with because it just never seemed to make any sense. I have that person's name, but I didn't include it in this video. But it was submitted to the court and it is in my evidence. I believed that this phone call was a practical joke, and I still believe that it was because I can't see any basis or any sense in it. But like everything else that happened to me during that time, I can't explain why someone in the Melbourne Magistrates Court would play a practical joke on me because the fact is that I don't know anyone who works in the court, and I also don't know anyone who works in any other part of the justice system either. So given that I don't know them, they don't know me, and on that basis they shouldn't have an opinion on me or any bone to pick with me.